Hey everybody, welcome back to All Things Pink. I am Julie Majors. I am your host, and again with me, welcome back, Miss Amy Masser.
Hello.
Out in the open to the horizon, where your heart can finally breathe. Out in the open to the horizon, baby, let your love run wild, wild, wild. You gotta get out there and explore, baby, let your love run wild, wild, wild.
Today we are going to be talking about something that is super near and dear to my heart, traveling, adventure, and wanderlust. So when I was younger, my dad used to tell me that a goal in life is to have both roots and wings. And so I have kind of tried to, I guess, format my life around that. But there's this want and need for people to experience things and to adventure. And I think that there's a different definition of that for everybody. But the reason why I wanted to have Amy on this in this conversation with me is because she too is a fellow lover of adventure, and I think we have some similarities as to why we love it so much. So first, I think I want to define what that means, because I believe that adventure can be lots of different things. I believe it's more than just traveling.
Oh,
I
sure.
believe it's more than, just taking a vacation. And I get asked all the time, because I do travel frequently to all different kinds of places, which I love. But people ask me all the time, they're like, how can you do it? Like, you're always, the whole entire truth is not, we're not always gone. Like that, I think it just looks like that on social media.
You go for a while, and you go kind of often.
yeah, but it's not always that. So let's just get that straight. Is that, and we do now travel and adventure kind of for a living. So, but defining that, and first I want to start with like things that we love to do and our favorite places and why. So I personally love to see lots of things. I love to go places that we've never been.
Same.
But I also love what I call going home to the places that I love, and certain places of, obviously, if anyone who knows me knows that Puerto Rico has my entire heart, and it's like home to me. And that just kind of happened. I fell in love with it. The minute, like probably within a day or two of being there, I fell in love with it. And we still have, as many times as we've been, there's still things for us to see. I want to see all of it. So I become very immersed into the places that I go, even if it's like somewhere 4 hours away. Like, I want to eat the food, and I want to meet the people, and I want to see how the people live, and everything. I want to kind of like soak up the culture.
Yeah, I want to do that too.
Yeah, so it's really, even if it's like Greece, or it's just like an hour away, somewhere that's like close to your home, there's still like
Well,
people.
Katie might get an adventure out of everything. Like she'll so I have a daughter with Down syndrome, and she's 28. So she's my sidekick typically, and she'll say, "Mom, let's go on an adventure because we're going to wherever. Like, it's someplace we haven't been before, but it's in Maryland. It's an adventure.
It's local.
Anywhere we haven't been before is an adventure."
Well, and I think I think lots of things can be technically an adventure. For us, I know we like traveling as an adventure.
It's a bit of an attitude too, I think. Yeah, like a mindset.
Oh yeah.
Like open to looking for something new. Like you're looking for, like you want the experience.
I think it's very much a part of our wellness to be to go and experience things and to do things. And I never thought in a million years I would be ziplining through the jungle, but I did it, and it was freaking awesome, and I would totally do it again.
I'm doing that next week.
I was like absolutely scared to death, but I did it. One of the things that we love, and why I fell in love with Puerto Rico, was because of the secluded beaches. I'm very much a I want to go and, soak it all in,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily want a million people around me. That's, one of those things about Puerto Rico. You can find
Definitely.
the coolest secluded beaches.
Especially on the little islands, like the off
The
islands.
outside islands,
yeah,
Vieques,
yeah.
Culebra, they're wonderful. It's so much fun to go there. But I hear that you are going to be going on a cruise, and I just want to preface this with no offense to anyone in the world that likes to go on cruises. I think they're great for the people that like to do them. But Amy and I have the similarity. I have zero desire to ever do that.
It has always looked like a hostage situation to me. Like I leave on Sunday and I'm hyping myself up for it. I know I'm gonna have fun and it's gonna be a new experience and therefore it will be an adventure.
Yeah.
But I mean I think we get 8 hours in each port.
That's hard for
And
people
there's
like
4
us.
ports, but it's a whole week. So I'm gonna be on in a big hotel.
You're gonna be a
resort,
floating hotel.
boats. Yeah.
Yeah, and that for me is the same way. So our idea of when we travel, we go, we explore, we don't have time constraints.
And we avoid cruise ports. I avoid cruise ports.
Yes, we're like, oh my gosh, it's over there. Let's go to the other side of the island. We want to be with locals and with,
you don't want to be with 1,000 of your best friends.
Yeah, the whole point is to explore, and when you want to explore, you can't get off the thing.
But I've got lots of people who love them, and they're telling me all the things, so I am looking forward to it, and it's going to be fun. And I know my daughter is going to love it.
Well, yeah, and that's great.
And that is why we are going.
Well, that's it. That's kind of why I said that. No offense to anybody. We like to make our own kind of arrangements and really disconnect when we travel. So it's very difficult. I think it would be very difficult for me to disconnect. That's just too many people in one place, and not having the ability to just change direction.
Yeah.
So
well, also, I'm not a big rule person. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
There's rules you eat between here and here, and you can get off the boat, but you have to be back by you have a curfew, and you have to
curfew.
Yeah.
Whoa, I know. For me, I'm like, curfew. What is that? Well, I like to have somewhat of an itinerary when we go places. It's basically a list of all the things that we want to do. It's not a daily thing, and we can pretty much change that anytime. I like the ability to just say, oh my gosh, I found something really cool. Let's go see this.
So I recently started going on what do they call tours? I guess I only do it with my daughter because it's safer. I just feel like it's safer. There's lots of people who know the area, and when I travel with my daughter, she brings her little boyfriend who also has Down syndrome and his family. So it's 5 of us, and 2 of them are Downs, and so the tour thing I liked it. I mean, we went to Morocco and Peru on a tour, and we saw so much more of the country than I would have been able to do on my own. It was great.
Well, I think that's a good thing to do if you need that structure, especially if you have kids with you.
It's a little too much structure for me, but
right.
Matt
But I know,
but
that's actually not a bad thing, especially in a country that you've never been to. We do a lot of prep work. So we try to do that on our own, but I do see the benefit. There's a benefit to having that tour.
Yeah.
And you can probably find ones that can customize and be a little bit more flexible.
I'll tell you what, they know the little local things. So when you're on the big bus going from one spot to the next, they know the little pull-off point where there's wild monkeys and you can and there's a dude selling bread or whatever. So that I would have driven right past because I don't know about that, but they live there, so they know all those things. So
absolutely.
Get to do, or the school goes and does a little dance around the fountain every day at 8:00.
So it's a lot of really good information, and I also, I look to that. We always ask the locals. We always
I do that.
And connect to locals,
and that's
because
even
locals.
More fun.
I think that is probably in my top 3 of things that I love to do. I always want to meet the people. I am still friends with people
Same.
that I've either met while I was traveling, and then they end up traveling with me to places sometimes. And they're still our friends. It becomes like a thing, and you have all of these
Facebook makes
people.
it easy.
It does make it easy, but it's really nice to be able to tap into the locals, and it's also good for them to share what they like and what they do and how they live, and we respect that.
Yeah. And Airbnbs versus hotels, I'd much rather live
Absolutely.
in somebody's house.
I love Airbnbs. In fact, I always try to find like the cool ones, like when we stayed in the tree house and it has a story behind it, and or there's some history wherever we stay. We're planning a bunch of trips coming up, and I always try to like find like the coolest view or like the coolest type of Airbnb versus just something.
If you're going to be there for more than 2 days, if I'm just one day, then I don't know.
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter. But like we found a barn that was transformed into an Airbnb, and all of the furniture is like old school.
Cool.
So it looks like little
Rustic.
farmhouse.
Yeah.
And the sink and stuff is pink. And I was like, oh my God, I have to rent this. Until I read the review that the roosters start at 1 a.m. And I was like, okay, no. I can do the roosters in like Vieques and Culebra, but it's not till like 6.
Yeah.
1 a.m. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that. But it was super cool. Would I do it? Yes. Would I stay in an Airbnb on the side of a waterfall? Absolutely.
Me too.
And that's absolutely worth it to me. I'm not a big hotel person or like resort person.
Oh, I have left resorts for a palapa on the beach in Mexico before.
Like, oh yeah, like that's the kind of cool
I've
stuff.
left the 6-star massages and everything to go hang out. Basically, it was Gilligan's Island. It was so fun.
That's awesome. That's something that I would totally do, and I think it's part of the experience. It's part of the experience to do something different, and you can go to a resort and be around loads of people anytime.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you're there? And I always say, like, people go and yes, they want to disconnect, but there's a level of disconnecting by connecting to something different and having those experiences. I can do both. I can literally spend a couple hours chilling on a secluded beach. I get my disconnection time, I get my rest, my reset button gets hit, and then we go explore. We go climb mountains or, go swim in waterfalls or whatever. To me, you can do both. I think just by listening to other people talk about resorts, it's convenient and everything is there for you.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that's kind of
it's
why.
pampering. People like to be pampered. I think a lot of people like to be pampered.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But
I'm here
don't
to
like
say
to
that
do-
the
I don't
hard,
really
the
care.
hard is so much. It's really not hard. It's not hard at all. People ask all the time, how did you find all these places? I said, we just do research. We research a lot about where we're going before we go. Or we just head out and we watch the map and we go, okay, we're just going to stop here. And then we're going to stop here.
sometimes I like to, like, if I'm on a road trip, whether in Europe or here, I will like kind of look like I'm going from this destination to this destination, and I'll like look for like little towns, and then I'll Google image them
Yes.
and see like what town looks best, and I'm like, okay, well, let's stop here and here for like lunch, and then just like let's
Exactly.
explore this little place, because you don't want to just drive straight. So that's kind of fun.
No,
to do too.
you're absolutely right, and there's so much to find in some of these little towns. I love them.
Yeah, me too.
Because they have so much character, and sometimes it's the architecture, sometimes it's the food, sometimes it's the vibe,
Yeah.
sometimes it's the people. There's a little town in West Virginia, it's Thomas, and it has the Purple Fiddle, which is like the coolest little, like, I guess you could call it a dive, but it's like folk music.
Yeah,
And it
cool.
used to be the general store, and now it's, like a music venue. And it's so cool. And the little town has these little, you would never guess this in a million years, that in the middle of like nowhere, there's this little town that has so much color. And they have all these little art galleries and little shops. And it's very, I love it so much. But it's just different. Like, you would not guess
Yeah.
it. And I think that was just such a beautiful thing to find, and to be able to talk to the people there. And like, it's like an old, coal mining town, and like, it's just things you kind of like stumble across that I think are some of the best experiences that I've had.
agree.
And I always say, like, there's certain places that you just can't see. People ask me all the time, like, why do you go for so long? Not to, I mean, obviously it's for, I want to stay, like, I never want to come home. That's probably part of the reason. But people ask that question, and I say, because I want to see everything, and I don't want to rush, and I want to, like, savor it, and I want to, it's like really good food. You just want to, like, take your time and hear the music and meet the people. You want to do all these things. I can't do that in a day.
No, especially if I'm going, the further I go, the longer I like to stay, because when am I going to get here again? You know what I mean?
You have no idea.
Well, or I probably won't choose it again, because there's so much more of the world to see. So, like, when I went to Greece, I was there for 2 weeks, and that was wonderful. We had a layover in Turkey. Now I want to go to Turkey. Like, it was amazing. Like, there was like a photo thing in the airport, and I'm like, oh my God, this is. I wanted to just leave and not come home and go see Turkey.
I
was there.
I'll absolutely go down that rabbit hole. I'll be like scrolling social media, and you see someone like, put that on the list. I'll be like, go put that on the bucket list, because we're definitely going there, just because I want to see it.
And I'll go alone. Like, I don't need, like, so I'll take Katie once a year. We go once a year. I make sure she gets her fun. And then sometimes, mostly once a year, I'll go either with a friend or friends, or if I'm dating anybody, a boyfriend, or I'll go just by myself too, and that is so fun.
I know. So that was something I remember. You took a trip out west by yourself, and I was like, man, that was super cool.
That was during COVID. That was fun. And so I'm not a camper. I've never really been camping. So I figured my first time camping, I should do solo in Utah, on the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management. So in Utah, you can just pull over and camp. If it's government land, you can camp there. So it's not like here where you have to have campgrounds everywhere.
Right.
So, and I mean, it's like another planet out there. Like, you just like drive behind some, I forget what those big things are called. Like, you're in a canyon, just drive around the thing and tuck yourself in somewhere. And I always put 2 chairs out, but I had a Jeep with a tent that pulled out on top, so I was above everybody. I felt really safe. It was fine.
Oh yeah.
And no one ever bothered me. I didn't talk to anybody for like a week because it was COVID and nobody was out
around.
And it was wild. It was so fun.
But I thought it was cool. I thought it was like super cool that you did that by yourself. Like, I think that's neat, and I think that especially women.
Yeah, Katie was with her dad.
Yeah.
So.
I think that it's okay to do that. I'm sure that women don't necessarily feel super safe, and it's probably depends on where you go. But especially if it's somewhere that you've been and you already know how to do everything. I mean, you kind of did that.
I did not know how to do anything, and I'd never been there.
Very brave, you are. But I mean, I think it's kind of cool. Like, I think a lot more women are doing it.
Oh yeah. I met a woman on the plane on the way there who was also doing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I think there was like this time in the world where women were not supposed to do those things, either if they were single, or they didn't have someone to go with.
I think there are some places I would not go alone.
Well, of course. I mean, I don't particularly care for certain cities close by. I wouldn't do that on the regular, but I think traveling and experiencing new things, like, I don't think you should wait, to do that, or just say, I can't do it.
I'm surprised at how many people, know that I do that, and they're like, I would never do that. I could never. Like, some people don't want to leave the country. Like, they're just not comfortable. Like, Ocean City is where they go on vacation, or,
So I can't, and again, no offense to anybody, with this.
But we're not all the same.
Yeah, we're not the same, but after I've been to the Caribbean, I have a very hard time spending that kind of money to just go to Ocean City.
It is the same price.
It is. Like, if you compare prices, I'm like, what the hell would you choose? Like, come on. So when people ask, like, why don't you go there? I'm like, because I can get on a plane. I don't even need a passport. And I can, be in the Caribbean and in like 3 hours. And you're at the same distance.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same time. And I'm like, and then you're sitting on these beautiful, beautiful beaches that are just ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, and Ocean City, you have to walk like 1,000,000 miles to get to the water in really hot sand. There's so many people. It is like so congested.
But it's a thing too. Like I also go to Ocean City.
Well, yeah,
it's a piece of my childhood, and a lot of people have houses. I don't usually stay in a hotel when I go. I'll either go with a ton of friends and rent like a big house, so that cuts the cost immensely. And I mean, you can do it much cheaper. And now we're older, so lots of our friends have places there.
Well, yeah, it's just. But it's everybody's jam. If that's your jam, I say do it.
There's nostalgia in it for me.
Like, well, yeah, I took my kids there. I went there when I was a kid, so I totally get it. And it's, whatever it is, I encourage people to do it. There are lots of groups now for women, especially, and of a certain age, too, to go traveling together. I think they're amazing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
those, I keep trying to get my mom to do it because she wants to do things, but she's probably not quite as bold as we are to just be like, all right, I'm going.
There was a lady on my...
I don't think I'm as bold as you are. I would have hesitation.
Yeah, a lot of people say it would give them anxiety. There was like a 75-year-old lady on our Peru tour. And, we also had Matt and Katie. So, like, I suggested when we were all trying to climb up Machu Picchu. And, they were going to split us into groups. I'm like, hey, how about we do the slower people and the faster people? So I stayed with Katie and Matt, of course, and then we had like an older lady and then another couple who was having a hip problem, like the slower people, but it was still fine. And they gave us shortcuts out. So yeah,
I think that is so badass.
She was wonderful. She had a blast.
She did that. Whenever we're hiking, and especially when we're doing a pretty hefty hike where I'm kind of like, all right, I need like to take a knee for a minute, and I see anyone older than me doing this, I'm like, you are a badass. Like, this is, this is going to be me, I hope,
and they're lovely
forever.
To talk to too, because if they're still doing it at 75,
they know so much.
They've seen the world. So
yeah, I know. It's
I
great.
love to talk to those people. Like, what was the coolest thing?
The coolest
and a
experience.
lot of things like. Even a lot of things that I've done. Like when I went to, Chichen Itza. When I went to Chichen Itza, you could climb to the top of the pyramids. Like you could walk up there, and you can't do that anymore. So.
I know. That's always like fun, as well as time evolves, or you go back, you're like, like something isn't there anymore, but you get to remember that, you have that piece of that, like that you saw this or you saw this. And I always say I want my kids to travel. I want them to do it while they're younger. And one of the things that I see is we get so consumed, and this is reasonable and justified. We get so consumed about, like, with our life, when you have, a job, a career, you have kids to take care of, you have a significant other, a husband or wife or whatever, and you have this family to take care of, a house to take care of. And, especially I think if you're a single parent, it's even harder to do because you're paying all the bills and you're doing all the things. And
definitely.
So when you are kind of basically sucked in by life, it's like what I call it, like life happens. And so a lot of people are like, waiting. And we wait. And I hear, I love these comments of, I'm going to wait until we're retired to do this. We're going to wait until the kids get older.
Some people do it.
And they do. But I'm thinking now, I get it because I always wanted to travel. And I did a little, but not what I wanted to do. Then life got in the way. And, I have a house to pay for. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. How do I do this? And then it got to the point where I'm like, I need to. Like,
Well-
this is for me. Like, I need to.
Yeah, I mean,
To
you can
fulfill,
get,
like, fill my cup. I need
you
to fill
can
my
make
cup.
payments. So it's when I went on the all the Peru. I think on the tour I did Peru and Morocco and Greece, and they were like $2,200 for one person, and that includes airfare, includes most of your food. Like it's not, and that was like 10 days or 12 days. That's so reasonable. It's so
I think
reasonable.
sometimes you can absolutely find reasonable adventuring. You
Yes.
can. Even if you just go somewhere locally, even if you just find places that are closer to you, it's not something, because people ask all the time, how do you do it? And yes, I'm going to admit I'm not really I let it go. Like, I'm not really, I don't like scrimp and find savings very much. I'm kind of like, it's just my personality. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Let's buy it. Right.
Mhm.
And I'm like, crap. But it's not like it's just easy to do. It's really difficult actually, to balance owning now 2 businesses and, I still have my kids, and family and doing all of these things, but it was a piece of me that I needed. It's called my reset button.
It is self-care.
It's my reset button, and there's things I need to do, and this is outside of the traveling that we're doing for the business. There's pieces that I need to have for me. And it's funny because my assistant says, whenever I say, I'm not sure, right now with all the uncertainty going on with everything in this world, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take my trip, to my favorite place. And she goes, oh, no. You're going. We'll do whatever. Like, you need to go.
They want you to go.
They want me to go. Because they're like, she's like, you need your reset button. Like, and I can see why, because like, it really kind of like regulates me and allows me to sustain and be sane. Like, otherwise it's very, you're depriving yourself of that kind of experience and that kind of wellness, that piece of your wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not really a big traveler, there's pieces of getting outside in nature. There's pieces of just connecting with other things that are part of our wellness. That's part of what makes us happy, like truly happy. One thing I can say is another thing that people always ask me. And there's this thought like that you have to take your kids on every trip with you.
Oh, no, you don't.
There are so many times I hear, and I ask myself, how the heck is that a reset button? I'm usually like, it's usually the moms. It's usually the moms that are packing everything and taking care of all the people and doing all the things to make the trip exactly what it needs to be. And I said, well, then that's not really
It's not
a vacation. That's not unplugging. I watched my mom do it growing up. Like, she was a rock star. She worked full time and then would pack everything and plan everything and do literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole time we're gone, she's still doing everything. She's cooking all the food and cleaning up, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I will do it, but to me that's not a vacation for whoever is in charge. It's not always the mom, but whoever it is, it does fall on someone. So I also have a belief that if you and your partner wait until the kids are grown and gone to do those kinds of things, you will potentially regret it, because those are connective tissue types of things. And, you always say it's like the empty nest syndrome, and once they're gone, like, you look at your partner, you're like,
now what?
dude, I have no idea who you are. I mean, sometimes they'll look at my partner now and I'm like, what? So can you imagine if we never did anything connective? I mean, and those are things to experience together as a couple. There's that relationship, and then there's the family and the kids. And we oftentimes get lost in this like circle of this has to be this one only. This one only. And it's all part of, you forget about you in that. Like, we are here, and if you don't feed that, what happens?
I think that this is probably a whole nother podcast topic, but I think that typically happens in families like with married moms, like who are compromising or frequently compromising to make the marriage to stay, make the marriage happy.
It's a dynamic.
Happy. And, yeah.
So it's funny because somebody asked me that once, and because we don't talk about people, I'm not going to name names, but the question literally, and I would tell you my response. They said, "Oh my gosh, how can you go on any trips without taking your kids?" And you know what my response was? "Would you care for me to show you?" Because it can be super glorious too. Yeah. It's like literally I sometimes need that break, and I waited way too long to start doing it. It does not mean I don't love my kids. In fact, if I'm more sane, they're probably happier.
Oh yeah, my kids didn't want. I mean, I only started taking Katie on like overseas adventures when I met Matt's mom, who also loved to do it, and she's also single. So we can take the two of them. We can take them anywhere, like literally anywhere in the world. They'll be fine as long as they're together. But if they were separate, it'd be a pain in the butt. Like seriously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just have to put it out there because it's just something I hear constantly, and I'm perfectly okay with it. Like, because it's healthy. It is healthy for me to do that. And I feel like my assistant would say, it spares the rest of the world from, this way. I'm not angry. I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Yeah. And then I can accomplish all the things that are needed to be done a lot easier when I'm also filling the cup, in other places. But another thing that I notice a lot, and it's something that when you travel a lot, I think you see this, and it's what I call respectful tourism. When I'm very sometimes embarrassed.
Me too.
By, people from, like, just people in general that go to an island or another country or even another state or wherever you're going and you are a tourist. You are there to experience their world and their culture. And you are not entitled to anything. And we are extraordinarily respectful when we go. Like, if it's another language, I learn as much as I can of the language. It takes me forever, but enough that I can communicate with them out of respect. I pick up my stinking trash.
Oh,
okay? Like, even going hiking and you see like people just destroying these areas, and I think, come on, man, like if you don't live in that forest, it's not your home. It does not belong to you, and that's something that I just have to say.
I have to tell you, I was on a hop on hop off bus in Barcelona, and I was traveling alone, and there were the most foul American tourists next to me, and the wife they were just loud and just rude, so rude, like commenting on people's clothes, and they didn't like the architecture, and they didn't like, I pretended I was Canadian. Like, I didn't want to be. I was like,
isn't it
don't
embarrassing?
associate me with these people.
Yes.
I'm nothing like it was horrible.
You're like, don't talk about us like that.
To be Canadian.
I know, and that's what's so insane. It's almost embarrassing. You're like, excuse me, I'm not with them. Like, you totally want to distance yourself.
Yeah, I didn't let them know for the longest time that I spoke English, and then I kind of just kept moving my seat. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
Oh, it is. We've been places where the Americans or gringos are being rude, just being like, I mean, they're rude here. People are rude. It doesn't matter where you are, but in that particular case, we're talking to an artisan about his stuff, and she's interrupting him and just being rude because she felt entitled, and I'm like, you shouldn't do that anywhere.
I'm sure she does it everywhere.
But that's, so I was like, I don't know. Is this like, I don't think this
Parents
is
on
a
vacation,
tourist
I
thing
guess,
at all. I
is-
think she's just kind of,
They're here too.
she's an ass. Like she's acting like an ass. But I typically say something, if I can, but it's just so, like, you go somewhere, respect the culture, respect them. That's their home. That's not ours.
I mean, embrace it. Immerse yourself into it. It's
I
fun.
know.
It's an experience.
It is. I think it totally is. Like, if it's clothing, wear the clothes.
Yeah, I
if
haven't
it's food,
been to like.
eat the food.
Yeah, I haven't been to Asia or India yet, but definitely planning on.
I would always
putting on
buy
some of
from
those.
local artists. I always do that, and I always come home with like another suitcase like full of
Yeah,
stuff.
we do too.
Because
we have to buy it. We twice
I
now.
don't
We've
like
bought the
suit- like-
suitcases on vacation
Yes.
for all the stuff we bought.
like I leave room. Yeah, like I leave room going there because I know I'm coming back with like a handmade blanket or this or that, and I just can't stop because I wanted to support them too, and it's like a real piece of that, and I think it's great, and that's what I bring back for people is something handmade and something, more in touch with that particular place, and I love it. So the last point I want to talk about is something that, and I love adventure, like I said, but my dad always said to have roots and wings. I can literally be happy in both ways. I can be happy traveling or just kind of moving around, always looking for like another cool thing. But I love my roots, and I love to be able to sit still as well. And so a lot of people that I've talked to, that when I say we love to adventure, we love to travel, it's they literally can't sit still. It's not that they want to experience the food or it's not that. Is it wanderlust, or is it fear of commitment? Is it more psychological than just I want to travel? Because lots of people want to travel. Like, we all want to go and do things.
What do you mean? What do you mean by fear of commitment?
So a lot of times from the many people that I've talked to that adventure a lot, that travel a lot,
They're escaping.
you're escaping something. It's also like an attachment style. It's a personality thing. So I say, what is wanderlust? Where does that come from? Likely not the same for every person, but many of them that are still searching for something, they're still searching, they can't kind of sit still. What I call sitting still is kind of like being happy where you are with what you have. And it's always like, I gotta like find the next best thing.
Yeah.
I gotta find the next best thing. And I find that comes from a lot of avoidance. And from, the reason isn't just that they want to travel. It's that they can't sit still, because when you sit still, you must see inside yourself, number one, and you have to commit to something. And commitment can be really hard for people. Like, that's like a big deal. So is it wanderlust, or is it deep-seated avoidance?
Well, I don't get to travel enough for it to be. I mean, I wish I could avoid my life and just travel all the time. But for me,
it's an interesting question. I always say,
it
like,
is.
have you ever seen someone who can't settle down?
You like, even when I'm in that quiet space, like, my head goes to like, where can I go next? Like,
There's a piece, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I'm uncomfortable if I don't have a trip on the books. Like,
yeah, and I always say, like, people should explore that. Like, explore why, like, what is behind all of that. I think you can be both. I think that you can have wanderlust in a healthy way, but also be really super cool with your still space. And I think it's hard, so some people have a hard time. It's like, I will literally, even when hiking, there's these moments where I'm like, this is a great meditation spot. I'm going to stop. And then he'll be like, like up the hill, but you're not seeing it. Like, for me, I have to like sit in the space or take a picture if I see something, or like I have to slow that down because I want to soak it in. And then, he's moving like a million miles a minute and it just keeps going. And I'm like, I'll see you, Tom. Because I was taught that,
Yeah.
to sit still and to, absorb that moment.
But don't you usually like to just do that at the top? That's where
I can do it all the way up.
That's funny. I've never hiked with you.
It's a meditative moment sometimes. But, you see a really awesome space. I'm just okay, I need, just 2 minutes, to just breathe that in. Or I gotta take a picture.
Because I'm a photographer, if I see a cool space, I'll just
take a
put
picture.
somebody in it and take a picture. Yeah.
It is though. It's how do we get to a place, or the people get to a place where they stop and sit still? I think it's important. I think to get to that middle, which I will always push the middle.
So do you think that the people who don't like to travel are more committed people?
They can be afraid of that. They can be for multiple reasons. There's your standard reasons, right? I don't think I can afford it. I don't think maybe
it's scary. The unknown is scary.
Unknown is very scary to people. If they haven't done it, if they haven't experienced, maybe they want to, but life's kind of challenges, they feel like they can't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's anything. Typically, people have a hard time starting a routine. They'll say, I want to do yoga, but they'll do it twice and they never finish. Those are all things that are hard, because that is hard. It's making a commitment to something. Mm-hmm. So I think that part of the reason why people are afraid to adventure, go outside this box. So, that's normal, right? You're afraid. It's the unknown, like you said before. It's afraid to take that leap. Just like when you say you're going to do something, you're going to make a commitment to it, and then something always gets in the way. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you're afraid of commitment. It could be that you've committed to a million other things and you've kind of overfilled your plate. There's all kinds of different scenarios, and I don't think that it's a wrong.
Well, they also could be very comfortable too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we get in massive comfort zones,
and it just seems like a lot of work, and then they'll look at my trip and they'll be like, "That looks exhausting."
And but it's perspective. Mm-hmm. It's perspective. When you yes, planning takes a little bit of time, but it's so much worth it when it's fun.
Oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah, it is so stinking fun. So I always ask people, why wouldn't you? That's work you want to do, right? Yeah. That's work. So we're out filming waterfalls, right, for work. And I think to myself, how can anyone even say that this is work? I just meditated and hiked for 8 hours, So, but I also noticed that some people will be this is work. How do you mix work? This is work. This is something I love. I just put them both together. Same. And now it's perfect. So, but that's me. But I think people are afraid to adventure, or they think they can't because of either economics or, they have responsibilities. Totally understandable. I have them too. I make the time to do this.
Yeah, it's whatever your priority is.
For me, they're all at the top. Work is clearly, a big, huge thing. My kids are huge. I have 2 dogs that I love, and a house and everything, and a partner, and it's all a lot.
Yeah.
But this is a piece of it that will fill your soul, and it feeds you. And so it's just the food that I prepare, and my meditation that I need for it's self-care. Mm-hmm. So I very strongly urge you to find ways to adventure, find ways to go outside of your comfort zone, at least get out into nature, take a walk, go to an art fair, go to a festival. Those can all, take a class. That can be an adventure. These are all things that you go outside.
Go to Renfest. Go somewhere.
Yes, somewhere, and do something. And it doesn't have to be alone. It can be with people that you love. But take the time for it to be about you and not everyone else around you. Take that time. It's very important. Thank you so much for being
You're
on this
welcome.
with me and talking about something that we both
That
love.
was fun.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here on All Things Pink. I had a great time. Absolutely with you, Amy. Don't forget that we post weekly. We want to hear from you. Why don't you guys send us a message and let us know what you like to do? What does adventure mean to you? You can DM us on social media, comment on our YouTube channel, or send us a message on our website. Thank you so much to the agency, as always, here in Frederick for allowing us to use this space. You can listen to this podcast on Apple and Spotify, or watch on our YouTube channel. If you are on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe, as always. Details about all of the other things that our umbrella company All Great Things provides will be in the descriptions on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, which is allgreatthingsllc.life. Thank you again, and please stay tuned for our next episode.
You gotta get out there and explore, baby, let your love